It was a girl and a man on an airplane. And she was reading her Bible. The man looked over and saw. And he said to her, you know, when you talk with someone while you're flying, the time goes a lot faster. So the girl put down her Bible, and she said, well, what is it that you want to talk about? He said, well, I want to talk about Jesus and the Bible and the resurrection and how it's all a big fuss about nothing. It's about nothing. She said, oh, well, before we talk about that, can we talk? I have a question for you, since you're such a smart man. I live on a farm, and we have animals. We have bunnies, and we have dogs, and we have cows, and we take care of them, and we feed them. But you know what? When they poop, the bunnies poop this little poop, and the dogs, it's a little bigger, and the cows, it's like really big. Why is that? And the man said, well, I really don't know. Well, you want to talk to me about Jesus and the Bible and the resurrection, and you don't know poop? Sandy did not want me to tell you that. John Updike, who died in 2009, was an American novelist, poet, short story writer, art critic, literary critic, one of 3 writers to win the Pulitzer Prize for fiction more than once. He wrote these 7 stanzas of Easter. Make no mistake, if he rose at all, it was his body. If the cell's dissolution did not reverse, the molecule reknit, the amino acids rekindle, the church will fail. It was not as the flowers, each soft spring recurrent. It was not as his spirit in the mouths and fuddled eyes of the 11 apostles. It was as his flesh, ours. The same hinged thumbs and toes, the same valved heart that pierced, died, withered, paused, and then regathered out of enduring might, new strength to enclose. Let us not mock God with metaphor, analogy, sidestepping, transcendence, making of the event a parable, a sign painted in the faded cruelty of earlier ages. Let us walk through the door. The stone is rolled back, not paper mache, not a stone in a story, but the vast rock of materiality that in the slow grinding of time will eclipse for each of us the wide light of day. And if we have an angel at the tomb, make it a real angel, weighty with Mac Planck's Quattro, vivid with hair, opaque in the dawn light, robed in real linen, spun on a definite loom. Let us not seek to make it less monstrous for our own convenience, our own sense of beauty, lest awakened in one unthinkable hour we are embarrassed by the miracle and crushed by the reminiscence. In other words, he has risen. He has risen indeed. It is real. All this fuss about nothing. Howard Carter, born 1874, developed a love for Egyptian antiques and eventually became an archaeologist, a very famous archaeologist. He is the one who discovered the tomb of Tutankhamun, otherwise known as King Tut. Carter had many ups and downs in his career and in his life. He discovered many tombs and many archaeological sites, and many of them turned out to be nothing in them. They had been looted. At the end of his career, he had a benefactor, Lord Caravan. He commissioned his work for 3 years. At the end of the 3 years, he became very frustrated with Carter because he turned up nothing. Just when he was ready to cut off the support, Carter discovered King Tut. Carter said that he had looked into many tombs, finding nothing. They asked him, "What did you see when you looked into the tomb of Tutankhamun?" He said, "Many wonderful things." It was just the opposite for the women who went to the tomb. They looked into the tomb and they saw nothing. When Carter looked into the tomb and saw nothing, it was not a good thing. It was a frustrating thing, a very frustrating thing, because of all the time and effort of discovering those tombs and then finding nothing. When the women looked into the tomb and saw nothing, they didn't realize, but it was a wonderful thing. "Why do you look for the living among the dead?" the angel said. "He is not here. He has risen." That was a wonderful thing. The women told the disciples. The disciples thought it was an idle tale. In other words, they didn't think it was anything. They didn't think it was real. But it was a wonderful, wonderful thing. It was really a real, wonderful, wonderful thing. Peter went to see. He looked in the tomb. He saw nothing. Did he realize or didn't he realize that it was a wonderful thing? It said that he was amazed and he went home. Today is Easter Sunday. Easter Sunday is a big fuss about nothing, as it should be. Carter looked into the tomb, saw wonderful things. The women and Peter and you and I look into the tomb and see nothing. And I pray that we all understand that it is a wonderful thing. More wonderful than the tomb of Tutankhamun. A real, wonderful thing. Let us discover how that wonderful thing makes all of life, all of eternal life, wonderful. So let's make a big fuss about nothing. Amen.